to the Genius Room. If you don't know, go to my profile. And in the top of my profile, you'll notice that I am live streaming here on YouTube and on Twitter. So you'll go to my profile and you'll see it. Mr. G, I appreciate what you were saying. I hope that everybody can hear me as I'm live streaming to take you to here. So let's start out with X. So let me go to X real quick and then I'll show you X. So begin with the end in mind, and I'm going to pull this up for y'all. So now we're headed here, and I'm about to do my share screen. I love this stuff. So, right, we might be doing a picture in picture and we're seeing each other, and this is shout outs. So, when you start to look at marketing, I could go live and do this broadcast and really talk about my vendors, my partners, and my geniuses that are in the space. And this is a way to market and talk about the value that each one of you bring here on Twitter. So, this is just an example of how you can do live streaming. But over here in this left category, oh my goodness, this is gold. Hector, can you see my screen, or can anybody having difficulty seeing my screen? Everybody good? Thumbs up if you can see my screen. Thumbs down if you can. Y'all hear me? Okay, so y'all can hear me. All right. So on the profile, so looking here on the left-hand side, there's areas of marketing I want you all to pay attention to. One is, check this little baby out. If you are a premium member, which y'all see I am a premium, you'll see things like bookmarks. I have bookmarks. I have at Connect, my drafts, and my monetization. This tells me whenever Twitter is going to roll something out. This helps me in understanding where to kind of navigate. So then I go under my premium. What's in my premium? Why you might consider being a blue subscriber? Because you get access to some of this stuff. Whether you use it as, this is new. This analytics piece is new, y'all. I don't know if I should show y'all that or not, but here we go. Because I'm showing it because it's actually a screenshot to show you analytics. So hopefully you'll see these analytics here. And that's where I want you all to begin with the end in mind. How many of you are using your analytics for your particular profile, for your account, to understand what you're doing on Twitter? So this is the new analytics right here. And the new analytics show you things such as my impressions is up 113. Y'all see all this green? I don't understand why my engagement rate is going down. So now, maybe it's if one of these categories, so I'll have to go into this more. But you always want to begin with the end in mind. Clicks. What clicks is up? What replies are up? How is this all looked at? Okay. So I'm going to head over here just for a second because I wanted to go more into what I've had been using. Oh, y'all like Creator Studio, Media Studio. Yes, this stuff has been out here since last year and looking at my Media Studio and stuff. So I just been like, oh, okay, what's this? So when I go into my Creator Studio, I've always been looking at my analytics. Again, this is how I start in the morning. I need to understand performance. Right now, you'll notice that some metrics, analytics are changing. So I'm going to share this for y'all. So you'll notice that the analytics are changing. So tweet impressions and following. This is marketing, y'all, because you're sitting there and you're putting your tweets out. You're begin with the end in mind, because I'm going to show you these side panels a little more. Go ahead, Phantom.
Yeah, Yaeunda, I think your engagement rate is just because you're getting more impressions and people are not engaging with the post. So they're not interacting with it. You're just spreading. So engagement rate is just impressions over engagement, I think. So that is the only reason. I just wanted to point that out so that you understand the analytics as well, and probably give us more insights as we go.
You're absolutely right. So to me, you're right. I dig a little further. So the analytics tells me stuff. I'm not doing an analytics class today as much as I'm taking you into your marketing. So you're able to gauge. This is your final test. This is the answer to what you're doing here on this platform on Twitter. So if you're trying to connect and engage with others, right? And these over here on the right hand side, let me take you here, are those key performance indicators, KPIs, some call it lead measures, and then there's lags underneath from a business standpoint. So when you're looking at engagement rate, when you're looking at link clicks, when you're looking at retweets with comments, and whether you're a bar graph indicator, whether you're a scatter plot, whatever you decide you want to see your graphs to tell you how you're performing, you're able to see this here. How many likes do you have? How many replies do you have? So literally your performance on what you're doing here. But in addition, this now I'm able to hone in on, wait a minute, whatever I did this day 2 hours ago, wow, what in the world? It was 615 impressions, 200 people engaged. It was 32.5% engagement. What that says to me is, wait a minute, let's go into the tweet activity, because I'm a surface initially and then I dig into the details. When I dig into the details, it tells me how many impressions, how many engagements, how many detail expands took place. Also, people want to see more. Okay. Then how many likes it garnered, how many retweets, how many replies in one profile click. So somebody was wanted to take it a step further, right? So inside my profile, I already have the community. So if I was to tie in to see conversion based on this one conversion, so you can take people on the journey in marketing, but conversion, profile clicks, where does that lead to? Real conversation taking place that I want to talk to you about marketing. So you're like, hey, Yaeunda, what you doing? You're taking me all over this place. I am, because I'm trying to tell you some stuff. Boom, back here to your original, which is looking at premium. So I head over here and I say, oh, what are all these cool Nandy tricks over here? Like, notifications. What does that tell you? Messages. What does that tell you? But lists. So lists, from a marketing standpoint, I've run across so many cool geniuses on this platform. I want to connect with everybody. I want to talk to everybody if I can, but there's certain areas that I specialize in. But I'm curious, list I'm on. Wait a minute, did y'all see that? Let me hear it again. I had list, then I had click, then I said list I'm on, right? But right here, you can create your own list. So you create your own list, right? So I want to see, curious, how many lists I'm on. Oh, what in the what? Wait a minute. I'll be darned. How many lists am I on? Wait. How many members in this list? Wait, how y'all doing? Hey, look at the list. Huh. Marketing. So here I am on a list with 1.2 thousand members in cryptocurrency. Let's just, and it includes Aslan, one of my favorite community members. Oh, look at there. There's Ray. Hey, Ray. Ray decided that I needed to be on this list for cryptocurrency, or maybe somebody within Ray's community said I needed to be a part of this. From a marketing standpoint, they feel like I'm a part of their tribe. I'm a part of. So let's find out how we can leverage these lists. I'm going to go on mute for a moment because I want to take some questions. Any thoughts on this piece so far? Mr. G, your thoughts?
No, it's amazing. And this is an area that I am weak on. And so I love, learning this information. So I can't help to monitor and understand the outreach and understand the algorithms and it's all working. So yeah, I really appreciate this information.
Absolutely. Heartthrob and Phantom?
I am loving how you're going through the list because, as I've said many times before, I use mine. I should be using it better for networking, but I've got mine organized so then I can identify areas of interest with people. And yes, Yaeunda, you're on my list of professionals because of everything that you do.
Thank you, Heartthrob. I appreciate that. Phantom?
Yeah, Yonda. I mean, I have just started. Maybe it's been like 2.5 months. So I think I've learned a lot from this analytics, right? So I think I'm doing something right if I got 900 followers in 2.5 months, mainly because I came here, right? I got that visibility. But the main thing that I will say is you said something here which struck me very well. If people are putting you on different lists, learn how other people categorize you and see potential collaborations with you. So maybe you're just saying that I am in marketing, but then someone is like, oh, I see you in crypto marketing, I see you in brand marketing, I see you in technology marketing. Now suddenly you are finding new avenues of collaboration that they set you up for. So what I do, and I think I have a whole bunch of public lists, you guys can always go find it. My hope is that you end up in one of my lists, and it's a tough job because you have to like figure out who fits in what. But what I do is I add people to 2 to 3 lists on average, just to have this like sprinkle of people. And my hope is to create a list of at most 50 people, because each list gives a specific feed. So what you can do is, instead of following 100 people, you can create 2 lists of 50 people. So you don't need to follow everyone. You follow the people who you are close to, whose feed is more personal, who you want to interact with. But truly, the people who you want to follow are the business leaders who will not give you the engagement. So liking their posts is no use. So just put them in a list and just watch their content come out, and you'll see that the engagement they receive, maybe it's worth it, maybe it's not, but you're at least getting it curated in this particular theme. So I think that list is a very useful way, but don't overcrowd the list, and try to keep it like, think of it as a curation of a bunch of people who you see a common theme with. I'm still trying to see if I should start figuring out version control and all that, but we'll see. We'll see. I have some ideas, but this is just my current growth strategy of using the analytics. So I'm looking at engagement rate, I'm looking at impressions. I don't particularly care for impressions, but it shows me how far the tweet spreads. The engagement is more about whether people are saying this is good enough that I will actually put my stamp of approval, right? That is the conversion that you want. And each of these are incentivized on the algorithm. So learn how to use the algorithm to spin out more impressions, spin out more engagements, and engagement from verified users are more powerful on X. So remember that if you have verification, you are giving people more validation. So when you engage with people, you can support people with your verification as well. And maybe we'll see how the subscription plays out. But that's basically how I see this whole marketing. I think I gave out way too much alpha, but I hope you guys do follow me. At 1,000 followers, I'm going to leave you guys with my 0 to 1,000 growth strategy. So yeah, help push me to that point, and maybe I'll give you a proper strategy, a system from the system engineer, a 0 to 1,000. So thank you for that.
Y'all hear the alpha is real. Like it's a business, and you see these lists. And I just paused here. And if you can't see it, it's okay. It's out there on YouTube. It's okay. It's out here on my profile. And you may not know this, but there's a whole media studio. So I can upload up to 60 minutes of content. So I'm like, oh, nice. So I'm starting to do more. So I'm pivoting more from kind of the public and more into community activity, just because I'm connecting with, like minded. I'm connecting more with lists. I'm connecting more with communities. I'm connecting more with groups. UD High, go ahead.
Okay, so this is my alpha, and this is what I have been doing in the past 1 week to 2 weeks now, and I've been getting a lot of impression. So if I should make a tweet, I need to follow some top accounts like Elon Musk, who has over 150 million followers. CZ, the founder of Binance, has over 8 million followers. So if you can actually put notifications on some of these top Twitter accounts, and immediately they post something, you get the notification, you can actually simply paste the link of your tweet. This will give you a lot of people coming to that tweet. You get a lot of people also coming to your profile to check your profile. And if your tweet makes sense and align with their thoughts, you get a lot of followers. And also, if you are in this Trophyverse space where Yaeunda always posts every day, let us be able to connect. Let us be able to have this connection. We follow each other, just like Phantom has already said. We need to follow each other. But the truth is that builders do not really interact with builders when they post. It's very rare for Yaeunda to engage my tweet, and it's very rare for me to also engage Yaeunda tweet. But if we can actually develop the interest in connecting with each other, engaging tweets, it's going to improve the outreach of our posts, and with that, our impression also improves.
Oh, Yudi, did you say it? Say it ain't so. Absolutely. So here you go. You keep talking about the alpha that's out there. So I'm going to go ahead and talk to y'all about it. Here it goes. I'm showing y'all. I'm sorry. I get excited. Sometimes. Big fingers. Sorry. So you just said it. Like, if you want to follow each other, support each other, do y'all know what this is for a second that I'm showing you? This is called TweetDeck. Oh, something that's so sweet. So now I'm able to manage multiple accounts. So say UD High wants a retweet, tweet, repost. Guess what? I'm able to add his account in here. Over here, you see the Genius Room members are here. You see everything Metaverse. These are different decks. So I can click in and and there's something different in there. So again, and then I've given different emojis for my little decks and stuff. But this is how massively. So when meeting with the geniuses of the Genius Room, we're activating. Some geniuses will have access to my account, but also to your account and to your account and to your account. And it's all in your tweet deck. So you're able to give people access to support you right in here in tweet deck. You can add your columns in here and you can decide what information you want to make sure you see, right? So, and I create some lists for some types of individuals, and then I make it private, and then only that individual and I can communicate going forward. There's so many ways from a marketing standpoint to be able to leverage the platform that we're on here on Twitter. I am doing this live stream just as an example to support you all as creators and understanding all of this value that's here. I'm gonna go on mute for a moment because Peter. Wait a minute. I think it's Peter Phantom. One of y'all have a question. Go ahead.
Peter, go ahead. Thank you, Phantom. Thank you. I was just curious. Like, most of my customers, I get either the bulk is from referral, and many of the people that I interact with, very, 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 very few are on social media. Like, they have social media, but it's like family interaction groups type thing, and you know, like recipes and stuff they follow, and you know, things that they do in their own personal space and time type stuff. What I'm curious about is what industry or what individual or what creator really invest their time in social media. Is it to benefit from earning money from social media, or is it the digital business card or digital billboard? Like, what I'm trying to narrow down is by having all these multiple followers and all this type of stuff, like, what is the benefit? Like, do you really get customers from all these followers, or is it that the platform itself compensates in some way? Is that that's my question.
So, great question. So, the first thing I'm going to share with you all, great question, is take a look at this video on this tab, business. Do y'all see X business? So the challenge I would have to most here is, have y'all even been to this tab of X business, right? To be able to see what's available if you do want to turn it into an agency. So I've been a digital marketing agency here on Twitter for over a year and a half with my agency ID and everything like that. So I'm able to do campaigns and stuff. So I'm not telling y'all something that I think, but more or less, what's the whole point in having followers? Is to be able to impact what they're taking in, right? Is being able to impact and influence what products, services that they're going to ingest. But how do you do that responsibly as we're transitioning into a digital transformation in world? So we're bridging Web 2 to Web 3 and leveraging the tool. So when you look at advertising, so business, what you want to know? Here it is, advertising right here. So these are all the ways that you can advertise and how you measure your return on investments. Look at the products that Twitter has. Yeah, Twitter has products. So here you have the Amplify pre-roll. So Amplify pre-roll is, I've been making media for a long time, tweets for a long. You can roll, and people can actually tag in their advertisements with your things. Take a look at what Twitter views as products on the platform to understand the monetization that happens right on this platform. So you have subscriptions. That's something that's coming, and some of you may have subscriptions. That's another way. The algorithm used to say that if you have 10,000 followers, there's at minimum a 2% conversion. So if you have a 2% conversion and you're getting at least $2,000 a month from follower subscribers, then that could be where a creator could live off of that money a month. Got it? So you have Media Studio. So these are all tools, products that are set up to help you in monetization. Every single one of these tools, Peter, that I'm showing on the screen right now on products, from Twitter shopping. Oh, y'all looking at me like Twitter shopping. I told y'all that months ago. When Twitter and X and Shopify were together. I was like, okay, y'all, live selling is going to be a thing. Everybody get ready. I've been listen, just because I'll say it, I'm not going to stay on it. I move because I'm a locomotive, and along the way, we're moving full steam ahead, you all, in mindset, in connectedness, and making sure that we have solutions for tomorrow for people. Where do they go? This is frustrating, building the future, but we have to stay encouraged, because it's frustrating because I'm looking for the technology as a non-techie tech. Why am I looking for technology as a non-techie tech? Don't make sense. But moving on to this tangent of manage your Twitter shopping presence all in one place. Did you know you have Twitter shops here? I told you. And here's all the information on how to set up your Twitter shop, and if you're eligible to do so. Just showing you again, Twitter as a business, for products, for services, Peter. They have it here. And they've identified that there's ability to monetize.
Thank you, Yaeunda. But is that more like if you have a storefront or what do you call it? Like a storefront. Is it like, say, like you're a fashion person or into art type thing, or so? Would you say it applies to select services or all services? Like it's
So all services. So I'm an affiliate partner of Shopify. Oh, hey, y'all asked me. I'm like, I got partnerships everywhere, right? So as a partner, when I noticed, I was able to go into the Twitter development Shopify area and create the shops, virtual shops, similar to what you're going to see on eBay, similar to what you're going to see worldwide is live selling is a thing. So your Twitter shops, I have Twitter shops with my coaching platform. So when you go to Shopify, you'll see all the coaching that you're able to come in, and it can be immersive, but it's a virtual storefront initially. So it's right here. So literally you sell. So let me show you what it looks like a little more. Let me and I'm just doing this just because he's asking the question. So I want to go in a little deeper on virtual storefronts to set up your Twitter shop. So you see this carousel or this catalog here in your catalog. So I can tell you how to do it. This is what I get paid to, what I get paid to do is I help projects to connect the dots. That's what I do. So Peter, on this is a carousel, and this carousel has your products. I don't know your crossbody bag or any of those on this screen exactly how you have that situated. I always recommend getting with Web3 Grandpapa because he's my resident expert when it comes to these things. I'm able to go to him and say, Grandpapa, I want to do this. And he's like, hey, Yaeunda, no raw, this, and this, and connect it. So, Peter, that's one piece. I've in March, I went out to Stripe. And in March, when I went out to San Francisco to their annual conference, I've always been studying money based on ISO 222. So I'm trying to walk y'all through a narrative of globally being able to sell your products and partnering with X. They seem to be in compliance. So this streamlines hitting brick walls for your product. Peter.
Thank you, Yaeunda. It's a tough play because you have to remember some of us, Yaeunda, are not young at heart and mind and spirit. Some of us, we're old and old in habits. You know, where you kind of want to shake the hand and you want to hand over the card. And now you don't do that because kind of COVID kind of changed things, but you still interact with people and you like, eventually you always want to still meet that person. But this is just my opinion. For me, I find that I participate on social media. Like I do very little on Facebook. I do very little on Instagram. Most of my interactions on Twitter, because to me Twitter feels like a part of it. LinkedIn, and what I do on LinkedIn. Here we go. LinkedIn helps a bit when it comes to Young Buck Spice, and Twitter does too. Like I've done, I can see the benefits of the. For those of you that don't know, Young Buck Spice is another service that I offer, and the social, I guess you call it the social media side of it. That interaction is completely different as opposed to retirement servicing, and the retirement side, I'm the bridge that connects accommodation, meaning that you have individuals that want to retire a different way. These are active individuals, and they don't necessarily want to purchase overseas, but they want to have control
because I had it happen to me last year with Facebook. And so I haven't printed out that narrative yet. I'm going to wait a little bit and then I'm going to take y'all through that storyline so that y'all can see why it's so important when you're in business on a social media platform, right? Because, or maybe you're connecting on a social media platform, whatever that case may be, understand what you can't see. And Web3 Grandpapa wrote an article on that today, helping people to understand independent platforms, Peter, and understanding the value that independent platforms have. So if you're on mainstream social media platforms, the suppression is real. The suppression to your content. Y'all already talking about. I'm getting notices. I'm at the maximum. Folks can't see everything that I'm talking about. I'm like, oh, wow, that's different. So if you went to Zentarius, like Zentarius building on a decentralized mindset, right? There's still centralization in it, but you're still like, okay, all right, he's building the decentralization for us. So it makes sense that do I necessarily have to stay with mainstream status quo in order to build? Now, it's just a matter of understanding the experts that you're partnered with to understand the trajectory that your content and exposure, your business is going to have, right? And for me, my business is mindset. I need everybody to understand the mindset to level up financially in real estate. Where we're headed, it's not for the faint at heart because this is some big moves that we take. But I want to make sure that people are in a good mind, good health, and good spirit first. So we got some work to do with the person first. I hope that made sense, Phantom.
Yeah,
Sorry, Phantom. I just had to get that in there. You are amazing, Yaeunda. I mean, how do you? Where's that applaud button? I don't have it. Sorry. Okay, here we go. I'm mute.
Yes, you make me smile, Peter. Thank you, Phantom.
Yeah, Yaeunda. So I think that like something that Peter was talking about just made a little bit of thing about the domain niche thing, right? So social media, I think, has just become this whole thing of us trying to socialize on different platforms, but different platforms come with different platform behavior and rules. So LinkedIn is for very professionals. So if you're a professional trying to market professional products, you're going to go to LinkedIn. If you're going to be an influencer looking to seek brand marketing through your video content and editing, Instagram, Facebook, those are ways to YouTube, right? So I think each platform offers you a better suite of tools, and different brands are trying to compete with different tool suits for you to create content. And then they'll be like, okay, if you spend time with us and create content and help bring the impressions and views, then we'll incentivize you. But they have set insane limits, like 5 million impressions, this, that. So that is like the quality standards, right? So I think that the monetization is about creating content that eventually reflects that quality. And that I think takes time because I need 10,000 followers to get 1 million impressions. It's not easy for me to get that visibility and that spread of information. So I think it takes time, Peter. And the other thing I will add is just socialize. You're going to find clients with less than 1,000 followers getting clients on Twitter if they know how to monetize and sell their skill set well. So maybe there is someone who's not on LinkedIn, but maybe they just got to know you as a solutionist. And they're like, I have a problem and here's a solutionist. And maybe either you or someone who can offer a solution, but you became this network who basically facilitated it. And now you are seen as a verified person who they can go to, an authority that they can trust. And tomorrow when you say, okay, in this market, I do have a solution. And if you are looking to invest, I am here. And then they'll be like, oh yeah, when I had a problem, you solved it. So I will come and invest in your other ventures as well. So usually trust is a evolving thing. And I think that That's a thing I'm learning from X. Like, it is something that multiplies very easily, because once people see that 1,000 followers, they're like, okay, 1,000 people trust it. But the metrics aren't right. I agree. You can buy followers, you can do a whole lot of things, but the true value comes from you monetizing your skill set using any media, whether it is advertisement on mass media or social media by coming in representing your own personal brand. So hope that answered your question. And yeah, Yaeunda, I just had a quick question. So my idea was that value, right? If the number of people who like the visibility, do people start looking at these metrics itself as value? Like, oh, you have access to 10,000 followers, and is there a way to like actually see value, or are there better KPIs that we can infer from these analytics? Like, maybe not right today, but I want to help understand people that these metrics are only a little bit helpful, and maybe there are other ways to kind of check out. Like, as you said, the tweet activity, right? The conversion rates. There are so many ways to interpret the analytics in a better way that can help us understand truly what kind of content is getting us those clients versus maybe like just getting us engagement and authority in our domain. So it is about like establishing authority with most of your content, and then explaining your solution once in a while, and hoping that like people will share it enough that you get a client out of that one post that goes around with your monetizable possibility, if that makes sense. So yeah, how do we do that? If you have any thoughts, if you have done anything or tools, I would love to hear.
Phantom, absolutely. And Web3 Grandpapa wrote an article on this yesterday in Zentarius on super analytics, right? So I'm just taking y'all back to Zentaurus and the value that the platform has. Because I read, like when my newspaper come, I'm like, good, good, good. And sometimes it rises before my coffee. So I'm like, okay, all right. The paper like, I'm a priority, not your coffee. I'm like, okay, got it. So Web3 Grandpapa, if you take a look at that article from Zentaurus yesterday on super analytics, you'll understand. Right, exactly. So yes, do I use super analytics? I do. I do have a platform that I use that I'm an affiliate of for my super analytics that literally told me this morning I spent some time in my super analytics going through and saying, oh man, I'm not connected with this account that has 1 million followers. I'm not connected with this account that has 500,000. Wait a minute, this person left me. Why did they leave me? Hold on, let me go ahead and send them a note. Like, where you going? What happened? What don't you like about me? Wait a minute, hold on. You want a little time? Let's go ahead and spend some time together. Listen, you want a separate group? You want a live group? Whatever. I'm sorry, Phantom. Do I have it? Absolutely, I do. Go ahead, Mr. G.
Yeah, I think Phantom was right on it. And depending on what you're trying to monetize on, I was watching a video yesterday realizing that if I'm creating videos, those videos can be repurposed on other platforms to monetize and create other content. And one of the individuals that I've watched this year on Twitter was laser focused. And I don't know if anybody knows or follows Wolf Financial, but he hosts a lot of financial spaces. He's got some great speakers, and I've seen him go from like 5 or 10,000 to over 100,000 followers, and he's monetizing on this space. If he's not making at least $5,000 a month, then he's not doing it right. But I'm pretty sure he is. So being focused, I think, is another big key. And again, going back to the solopreneur, he didn't do it alone. He's the spear of the business, but he didn't do it alone. And that's why we need visionaries like Yaeunda here. And you've got a gift, Yaeunda, that you're able to see what's coming when a lot of people don't. And that vision is so amazing. And that's what we need in think tanks.
Thank you so much, Mr. G. Thank you for acknowledging, recognizing one of my gifts. Thank you so much for that. Because last year, remember in 2022 in January, I've been using AI. So I've been a 4K AI bot. That's how we came in digital marketing. So I was programming as a non-techie tech on a no code, right? I'm just saying, right? So I saw, because I'm looking for solutions for businesses, but through unintentional going into the digital marketing landscape, yep, that's exactly. So I do have that foresight, and I'm so thankful for that gift. And you all just continue to harness it in me. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm all over the place. Jesus, this wire connecting this wire. It's like everything metaverses. I'm like, hold up, yeah. So it's fun. Thank you, Mr. G. Phantom.
Yeah, Yonda. I mean, I can see you just enjoying yourself on the Twitter stream as well, you know. So I know you're just vibing to this whole like genius that's happening, because I think when money comes into the picture, we are all like, how can we make more money, right? And the thing that I think everyone realizes is that they all want to make money, but I also want to tell people that, you know, like the old people say, money doesn't grow on trees, right? So we have to take that tree, process it, make some cotton, paper, this, that, and then we finally give you this thing, tangible contract. That's the legal tender of $100. And when we look at that, we forget things like nothing else. That $100 can make us go a long way in. But what I think is we have attached value to money, right? We have attached that value because we see like money as that vehicle for action, for talking and making our voice amplified. So I think ultimately it is that. I think we have spoken about this. Figure out the solution in which everyone has a stake in. The harder problems are very hard to solve. So the more hard problem you solve, the less competition there is, but there is high risk. So we have to kind of start figuring out these genius ways to rediscover some of those first principles, and then come out at these problems and then come up with some solution that is a hybrid, right? It is not completely new. It is just trying to integrate that Web 2 into Web 3, because you know Web 3 is coming, but not everyone's on Web 3 yet. So to facilitate that from Web 2, but also from the grander public, right? You're almost thinking of laying the groundwork for Web 4. Because I am telling you, I come from Industry 4.0. They call it the fourth industrial revolution. So digital data farming. Humans are being farmed for data by the industry, right? We are trying to use this kind of large scale data modeling to kind of understand humanity and create these new understandings, which the industry gets to know, and they might even use it against us sometimes. But we need to use and harness that knowledge enough that we also create value out of that knowledge. So that is my hope. My hope is that we work in these companies maybe, but can I give that same understanding to other human beings and make them act on that responsibly, right? That is ultimately the goal. And what happens with that responsibility is that it creates a sustainability. You don't want to give away all your content on day one like Netflix, but you are giving it like weekly thing like the old TV shows, because you don't have to, throw out all your content and just have people binge through it. And now they have an existential crisis. Oh no, the idea is over. I want the next season. Oh, that takes another year. Of course it does. Production isn't easy. It takes time. So when you give the product, it is that moment of time when the evaluation happens.
I think you dropped off, Phantom, but great conversation. Let's head over to Peter, unless I can't hear.
Thank you, Phantom. Yaeunda, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, I think you might have missed the connection with Phantom, but thank you. I just want to use this as part of my closing, and we all want to succeed. And we all going to go through the bumps and the grinds. But I want to stop for a second. I want to just pause and mention one thing. Yaeunda, I love it when people give you a compliment and it's true, and I can literally feel your smile through the technology. I just want to mention that. But going back to what I was saying, is that we really have to dig deep and understand that we're still part of the big public. And my impression is that the structure is still apparent. In control of a financial distribution system. Excuse me. Whether you call it banking or whether you call it whatever you call it, we're not in control of it, and we're not even participating in it. We consume it, we utilize it, and somebody's constantly controlling it and benefiting way more than we are. And my belief is whatever we create or whatever we design or whatever we build, until we have a say in how it's going to be financed and how it's going to be, well, whether you say funded or financed or how it's going to help us live our lives, we're not going to get there. And I'm back to that thing where I'm saying we need to seriously look into a credit union. And I have been doing some work on it. And in time, we're going to discuss it with Mr. G. And I want us to kind of, if permitting, get a space on knocking down to determine would DeFi be the best route for us to go, or is credit union the best route for us to go? But unless we're in control of those monetary distribution tools, I guess you can call it, it doesn't matter, because we're still just pedaling in the water. Yes, we're doing okay with our businesses, but we're at the mercy of something bigger. And if we really want to compete, we've got to have the financial power to compete. I hope I didn't confuse things. I hope it made sense. And I hope you understand. Thank you so much, Mr. G, Hector, and everyone else in the space. Thank you. And on one thing, what the gentleman Keys mentioned, yes, it, unfortunately, we all have sorrow and we all feel for those that have suffered in that fire in that beautiful tropical island. Thank you for mentioning that. Yaeunda, I place my mic.
Yeah, Peter. I mean, you bring, thank you very much for consistency, and thank you for always showing up for the geniuses, right? And you're such a spark, and I'm thankful for you. You're such a godsend. Peter, I feel, and maybe it's just my mind, right? Maybe it's just my mind. So I'm going to talk to y'all from my mindset, which is, I feel like relevancy is so significance is so important. And you're right. Fortune 1000s, Global 2000s have really done a great job of staying relevant over years, right? I just feel like they're already in part of this tech and all this. So the collaboration is kind of like that currency.
Mic check.
Can y'all hear me? Or no? Hello? Oh, y'all can't hear me? Phone?
No, I can hear you.
Yaeunda, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like you can't hear a couple people on stage.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. So I'm going to try it now and just say to each and every one of you, I think we're in a space where we can challenge status quo. So, and I only mean that from the aspect of understanding how to challenge status quo. So, for me, how we've always done things, there's nothing wrong with it, but can we do things better? Certainly we can. So, how do we do those things together? We add value. So, is value concrete or is it abstract? Can you put your hand on the value that you're experiencing, right? Or can you put your hand on the valuable? So, again, do we have tangible and do we have intangible? And so, when we're looking at where we are currently, I really feel like this new wave coming in, Peter, whew, it's all about energy. I'll call my daughter just so y'all understand who my baby girl is. I want y'all to understand she's 13 and her nickname is Angela Davis. I call her Angela Davis because she has this power, this spark that I've seen in her since age 2, where I knew that I was raising a different mindset altogether. Woo, my Peter. Every day with this 13-year-old challenges me as an adult to understand I feel like, to Mr. G's point, I'm holding a conversation with an awakened adult, it feels like, because I'm like, hold up. So understanding if her energy ain't right, she tells me a lot of time, I pay for her to go to dancing for this summer. And she says to me, I need a motivation. I need to be inspired. I need to be motivated to do. I'm like, what in the kind of what in the maybe that's me for a second, but I had to step back for a moment and say, and then when she came to me a week and a half later, she was like, oh, I've been inspired. I'm ready to go now. I'm like, where'd your inspiration come from? She couldn't tell me in words, but she was inspired to go. Peter, to me, I don't know. That's just me. And I've never verbalized that to anybody. And this is what's taking place over the last maybe 2-3 weeks. What kind of conversation am I having with my kid? Phantom?
Aren't they equally secure? If not, why not? Because then the whole thing comes with new regulations that the banks and the system has already been always a part of, but it is about regularizing these new players in the market who are trying to define a whole new market from the free market and are slowly creating their own systems that they hope can be regulated and organized enough that can integrate with the actual market sufficiently. So I ultimately think that I have spoken like the credit union idea is the same thing as a co-op bank. So I think that your idea is great, and it's almost to me the old version of DeFi. It's just rebranding, right? So I think that all these kind of technological solutions get adopted in different ways, and maybe certain banks don't trust the new technology enough. So they're like, I don't want to take the risk of the vulnerability of this new technology. So they are a bit more conservative there. So maybe these new banks will be creating using this DeFi, NFT, whatever it is, and some level of the CBDC. So you need balancing new banking systems everywhere. It's just about that integration. So I think it's not one question. It's just going to be a lot of different decentralized exchange points, and I think they're already popping up. So it's not anything new. It's just about integration with DeFi and the current financial markets.
But Yaeunda, if you don't mind, I'd just like to jump in. Phantom, can you hear me?
Go ahead, Peter. Go ahead.
What I was getting at, and thank you, and also thank you, Yaeunda, because it is coming. But what I'm jumping at is that if we, as let's say the small people, because even in our own capacity, we believe that we've achieved what we've achieved. In order for us to keep the engine going and keep building our lives and keep building for our families, if we are not in control of the financial platforms that help us build, or we have a say in it, we're going to get rolled over. And I don't believe enough people are seeing that, because we're allowing those that are big to get bigger and determine who's going to be on the success path and who isn't. And
Peter, can I will just push back on this with just one thing, saying that governance is going to be governance, whether it is corporate governance, system governance from like nations or people in communities. So like this is sounding like politics to me, and to me this is like just how people will have to find ways to interact and collaborate, right? Like whether it is in terms of finance or something else, you are just saying I want to have some control, and I think you do. I think you already do have the control. It's about taking that control and finding the right place for your control to impact better, right? And that I think is definitely going to be harder in the decentralized market for sure, but it's kind of very complicated without governance. So I don't think it's about finance at all, but it's about using governance to channel these kind of things with maybe policy, because policy comes from polity, and polity are the people. So I think you are kind of missing the governance aspect a little bit here by saying that people need to take everything into the power themselves, because maybe you are not giving that power to the government to do it for you. So maybe that kind of needs to happen a little more, and you need to be able to trust the government, and the government should do more to protect people's interest from corporations. Maybe that can help you feel that the government is doing its job and governing the people for the people.
You both bring a interesting perspective. And what I will say is that I'm bringing the Digital Economic Forum back, right? So Hector will help us facilitate that. And so part of beginning with the end in mind is am I cutting across anybody? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I don't think you can hear Phantom.
Oh, I can't. So let me exit out and try and come back in the room. Hold on.
For meetings to create a solution.
Okay, I'm back in. I didn't hear anything y'all said, but you got it, Mr. G. Y'all got it? So I am going to, so I was able to log back in, and I was saying between everybody, we have an interesting conversation. I think Mr. G just recommended a solution for us. I'm wanting to bring the digital economic forum. I call them. That's what I did. So the digital economic forum, so that we can continue to unpack. Because to Peter's point, if you decide, he's right, y'all. You have to understand the money and the waves where money is headed, right? It's a matter of how. So from what I really liked with that whole digital economic forum with the Catawba, if y'all might have remember that Catawba conservation and what is taking place there and some of the protections that are there. And it was probably the first time people may have been introduced to indigenous communities. So I wanted to bring the indigenous community back, because what they're doing around LLCs is very, very unique and supported by the government. So, and I say they have some exemptions and stuff like that. And I would do a disservice to paraphrase for them. But I think that's a series. And I heard Mutasco say it yesterday. That's something that we need to unpack more and more and educate the people on what they can achieve by partnering with like places like Catawba. Go ahead, Peter.
Thank you, Yaeunda. And also thank you, Mr. G. That'll be great. and then after we can bring it to the space. What I want to mention, especially the Phantom, nothing I say is anti-government. I'm not anti-government. All I'm saying is that and maybe some of us are not feeling it yet, but a crush is coming, and it's getting to a place that's saying to us that we either have every structure that we need and our social net in place to secure ourselves, because it's no longer going to be done for us. And this is not just me venting. I hear it from people that are on a transition right now where they're leaving, let's say, the world of work and they're going into the world of life. And they're saying what's coming behind them is not necessarily friendly to those that are on the third notch down from the pyramid, because the third notch up wants everything for themselves. And maybe the message they give me is confusing, but I'm just saying we need to be part of our own financial structure to self-finance, self-insure, and we can grow the numbers to do it. Maybe it's too big a vision, but I don't believe it is. I believe we can do it. Okay.
I believe we can do it too, Peter. Woo! Oh, sorry, Peter. You get me all excited. You got to stop that, Peter, because we can do anything that we decide we want to move in that direction, right? So, I'm thinking, maybe sometime after 3:00 today, Peter, you, Mr. G, and I jump on a call today, and let's just go ahead and flush this out and get this ready for the geniuses. Or, if other geniuses want to be a part of this high level conversation to unpack, then we can do that. I would like for us to meet in the metaverse, though. I'm just saying, because I'm tired of all these Zooms and all this like meets and stuff. I'm like, because my AIs, they fight so much. So if we just meet in the metaverse, it's simple. Do you have time today, Peter?
No, I'll make time. But is that the space where you have the real estate conversation?
No. This is the metaverse. So maybe I'll send you a link and we can. I'll send you a link. We can meet in the Genius Room. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah. Is that okay with Mr. G?
Okay. Yep, it's okay with Mr. G. So we'll meet in the Genius Room.
And in all fairness, we should open it up. Those that want to come in and because.
Right. I think we have 20 people on the list, 19, 20 people on the list. So I'll invite all 20 people to participate. Yes, sir. I have no idea what's going on with my phone right now. Again, it's just doing this thing. So I don't even know if I'm still broadcasting. It might have ended again today, you all. Just like, she talking too much. So we just going to take her off the air real quick. So I'm desperately trying to find y'all to see if we're still going on or not. So I guess they said, too much. Let's see if this is still blinking. I do apologize. Well, this says we're still going, so I can listen.
People on the list, and now we've got 20. So I'm excited to hear that 7 more people joined.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so Mr. G, I just had to bring back the conversation to finance a little bit and maybe ask you this question, right? Like, I think Peter was also asking about this. Like, the like raising funds
maybe
was
projects in the future, because I was hearing there is some fatigue going on with NFT projects right now, and like the whole people are not ready to invest in either institute like traditional places or these kind of decentralized places without knowing that kind of as Peter mentioned, like without having enough trust. So how do we kind of handle this like dilemma in finance? Like, where do I diversify? Do I wait it out? Should I hold on to my just currency and not invest? Or if I am investing, how do I de-risk the investment? Maybe.
You do understand Mr. G charges by the hour, Phantom. I'm just kidding.
That's the point of the genius room, right?
I'm just kidding. I'll let him answer that. I'm just teasing. Sorry.
yeah. I mean, I love it too.
So, what is your question exactly?
De-risking investments in the future, whether it's Web3 and the whole NFT side, or just like, where do I put my money?
Well, again, not anything in here is stated as financial advice, and make sure to do your research, but you want to make sure that you're figuring out where your risk tolerance is and invest in a diversified portfolio according to that. And that's something we could work on together.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yaeunda, do we lose you?
I think I'm back now. Hey, geniuses. So I want to continue with the wind down. Any more to wind down for today? It's been a great conversation I'm going through. And as you see now, just you see how I engage with posts. So I want any takeaways that you have from today before we close out for the remainder, but it's been incredible. And I want to thank those geniuses. You have anything for us? Close out, Peter, Heartthrob, Phantom, or Mr. G?
Yeah, I mean, Yaeunda, I will just add a little bit so that I will just say people use a lot of scientific terms to do market research, but sometimes there are biases that they don't account for sometimes. So they get what they're looking for in the market and they think that it will work out, but the reality plays out otherwise sometimes. So I think that, we need to still understand the market in the broader sense and see that if we do enable this solution, it has to come from people somewhere, whether they are not at all digitally transformed or whether they are already digitally transformed and it's like easier to onboard them from their current platform. So I think it's very interesting ideas here that I just see, how finance playing out, because definitely the money is where the accessibility is, and X or any platform that exists already is having a head start. So that's the basic idea. I don't want to reinvent the wheel unless necessary. So we have to figure out how to ask the right questions. And if we ask the right questions, we'll figure out the value in the solution and hopefully invest wisely. That's all.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Like, this is always amazing, geniuses. And y'all come through. And thank you so much, Phantom. Heartthrob.
Absolutely. My best advice: ask questions, know what you're getting into. The only financial advice I can give out to anybody is to get yourself a financial advisor and consult them with legalities, because everything else is nothing more than an opinion to steer you in one direction or another. And as always, I want to remind you that your time is the most valuable asset that you'll ever own. And I, Heartthrob, want to personally thank each and every one of you for investing your time here today. And I want you to know that I love you and I hear you. Let's connect.
I love it, Heartthrob. Let's connect. That's right. Peter.
Thank you so much, Yaeunda. Thank you, Mr. G. And Hector. Hector, you still there? Is he muted?
Yeah, I think he's down there.
Yeah, he's a listener. I think I can see him.
Oh, he's probably having some technical. Yeah, good point, Heartthrob. I wanted to mention that basically everything I express is an opinion. That's all it is. But I urge us, as that species that we are, we have to do better. We really have to do better. I mean, we have to do better when it comes to securing the future for our families. We have to do better we have to do so much better for ourselves right now. We can no longer depend on what the corporate powers want to offer us. We have to depend on us. And maybe I'm pushing it too far, but we're not too small to become big and right. And I say it again, we're not too small to become big and right. Thank you so much, Yaeunda. Thank you, Mr. G, Phantom, everyone else in the space.
Ooh, Peter, like listen, a call to action. That's what he was like. It's a call to action. I'm gonna put it out there one more time so y'all get it. Because I got it, Peter. You know, I've been a student of just money because I didn't have much of it. Still don't have much of it. So in my mind, I'm saying, wow, because money offered security until COVID happened. Then my value and how I feel, my mental health, my alignment, there was a shift in priorities. So I love what you're saying because we need money to exist. And are you the product? Yeah. Peg?
Hey, sorry, I was coming and going here. I have appointments and travel, and so I have a finance question here, but I saw that OpenAI is likely going bankrupt. Okay, I was like blowing my mind. I'm lagging on Twitter. I didn't know if this was discussed. I know we usually talk about AI on Thursdays, so but how do these companies do this? I mean, how does it happen that what is somebody cut off the vein here when the government decided to take a look at them or what? And I gotta say, okay, this is not again a religious thing, but how does the Catholic Church go bankrupt in all of these when we've given these wide, religious, we've given them property, we've given them all these things, and with the priests molestation and them moving the priests around and all this. I mean, really,
Well,
every
geniuses,
day
we will
where I
wind
live
it
in New
down.
York, there's another town
I'm gonna shut down. Come to the room.
diocese there is going bankrupt.
So you can see what we're talking
somebody
about.
explain this to me, okay? Like, and then
Bye.
here we are, as
Love
like
y'all. See y'all soon.
the so-called little people. They